Hello, Beez Bladers. Welcome back and welcome newcomers to the channel. I have 10 knives of the week that you can get on Amazon. I'm going to take all these out of the box. We're going to run through them, see if we have any favorites. You all can tell me what you think about them, and all that's going to start right now. I hope you're having a fantastic day, and if you haven't, make sure you subscribe and hit that bell button. That way you'll be notified before we have Beez Blades live at the Hive. Oh, right. Every Friday night, you don't want to miss it because we have a lot of fun. We give away knives too, but this first one is an absolute chonker. This is the Saivian ST156. Would you look at it? Just look at it and all of its bumblebee-ness. Now, I have a couple different versions here. I know you can get the red or the yellow and black, and then you could get the brown or the green micarta. And guess what? I'm telling you right now so I won't forget, these are 14C 28N blade steel, baby. But let me check this out. Look at the width. I have my QSP Penguin here just to give you an idea of what we're stepping in. Yeah, it is a chonker. You have a big old back spacer back here, and then it's a front flipper. Oh, okay. They did a pretty darn good job on the old front flipper. And let's get this blade out. You ready? Pow! Right in the kisser. Look at that. That is a nice, tall 14C 28N, and I really do like the satin lines. Those look so good. And it's black washed up here on the flat and up here at the ricasso. And then you have a giant, and I mean a giant finger choil. So if you prefer to have a knife that has a lot of handle, and I mean real estate handle all day long, this one is, wow, it is very comfortable. If you want a big heavy knife, I mean, let's see how much it weighs, because it feels substantial in the hand. And you know, some of the knives are a little slender, more thin in the hand, and I know I've got a lot of comments from people that want a knife with a thicker handle. So these come in at 6.7 ounces. So they are not for the light-handed, the light-hearted, and oh, okay. So the reverse grip works very well. How about this front flipper? That's kind of a Japanese style front flipper, the way it's sticking out like that, but I can tell you that the jimping does a fantastic job. And can I use my thumb to open this? Yes, I can. So it's a liner lock and it has good action. You know, Saivian does a really good job with their grinds. Let's see. Oh yeah, this one is nice and sharp. Let's lay this one out, and then here, ooh, yeah, this is a pretty cool knife. I really do like this handle. It feels very substantial. The only thing I would say would be a drawback is that they make these humps here. If you're gonna have one up here just for your first finger, that's fine, but I would tell any knife company, I think, it's my opinion, and you tell me what you think, that a lot of times when you add extra humps or things like this, it kind of forces your hand or your fingers to go in particular spots that may not work for everyone. Now, when I'm holding it like this, choked up, it's very comfortable. This is going to be a good slicer. You're going to be able to do utility cuts. I do like, wow, that is it is thin behind the edge. Nice, tall, flat grind. That is very nice. But the grip is comfortable. As far as hot spots, I'm not getting any hot spots on it. And you know, I like the feel of this G10. I just feel like I could really use this. And then when you're done, just toss it in the back of the truck. I'm not worried about banging it up. These run in the $30 range. So for $30 for 14C 28N, nice, hefty, thick handle, I think this is really going to be good for a lot of knife collectors. And I'll see if I can manage to show all of these knives that we're running through very quickly next to the QSP Penguin, because everybody should have a Penguin, right? And I just say that because it's a great everyday carry size knife. So there you go. It is a chonkarooski. Next up is, yeah, look at this. It's a Kooby Nova. You know, I don't think I've ever checked out the Nova. At least I don't have one in my collection. We may have had one or two and given them away, but I don't think I've ever done a video on one. And the first thing I have to note is the great texture on this G10. Oh, it feels so good. And look at this. It has a reversible clip. Those last two Saivians did not have a reversible clip, by the way. And, you know, I might skip around. That's what makes a video fun. No, it's not deep carry, so you will be able to get this in and out of your pocket very easy. But back to the Kubby Nova. I'm looking up here and check it out. We have some good jimps going on. They're not super aggressive, but they are grabby. You ready to see this blade? Ooh, you thought I was going to say pow, didn't you? Look at that. So it has the appearance of a harpoon blade when you look at it like this in the light, but then when you look at it like this and like that and like this, and you can see how just a little bit of that swedge action comes in and just gives it a nice appeal and gives it the appearance of having a little bit of harpoon going on. You do have a big forward choil up here. And is that choil? Yes, that choil is usable. And oh yeah, the ergonomics are comfortable. Yes. Now I can just barely, I think if I had extra large hands, that clip might bother me, but I can tell that that clip would bother me if it was just a little bit farther inset. So this works for me. It's not a hot spot at all. Now, as far as lanyards, you could put a lanyard right here on that post right there. Let's see if that would be affected by the blade. Would it? No, you'd have enough room if you had a lanyard tied tightly to it. And how's this blade? This blade is slightly off-centered just a little bit to the clip side. And here's this is the old style Kooby clip. There's not a ton of room in between there to get your jeans or your pants in and out of your pocket. So that might be a little bit of a stopper going in and out of your pocket. But these run around 40 doll hairs. And I think 40 doll hairs for a Kooby, let's see. It's solid. It's totally solid. The lockup's right in the middle. It has easy access to the liner lock. Very easy. Oh yeah, it's smooth. It's buttery. When I get a Kooby, I usually know right off the bat it's going to be a good knife. The jimping is done well on this. It's grabby. They did a great job on the jimp, so you're going to be able to sharpen and not worry about messing that up. Now this particular Kooby is D2 blade steel, so that's a tool steel. It's a tough steel. It has really good edge retention. If you're a beginner, it might not be the easiest to learn how to sharpen on. If you're going to get into knives and you're going to start sharpening knives, I would suggest try to start out with some diamond stones because they're going to make your job of sharpening and learning to sharpen much easier. And oh, let's go for 3 out of 3. I almost forgot to put it up next to the QSP Penguin. So you can see there, this is a large size knife. I have large width hands. 4 inches from here to here, 3.5 from here to here, and from the bottom of my palm to the tip of my middle finger is 7.25. So giving you a look, XL hands will be able to hold this knife no problem. And all of these knives, you can look, I'll have links to them all in the description of this video and in the pinned comment where you can go and check out the various links and statistics. Now here is an interesting knife. This is an EF knife, an Ifengro knife. Now, you know, I didn't know that they had this one out. It is pretty cool looking. It has a titanium handle with blue anodized hardware. And let's see, it's rounded and it has kind of that, not proprietary, but that little triangle shaped deal going on. And let's see, yep, the same thing on this side. And going all the way down, there is a milled titanium pocket clip. You know, I got to say, Ifengro, they've been stepping up their game. They've been putting out 14C28. Now, I can tell you right now, it doesn't have the strongest detent. It comes out a little slow. That is a cool looking blade, though. That's kind of a disappointment is how slow that blade comes out. All I have to do is push on it, and it does that. So that right there would be a nitpick with this knife. Now, knowing it does that, I will say, that they did a good job on the jimping. That jimping does make it where if you know you have this knife in your hand, you see how fast you can snip it out? Yeah, look at that. It has really good sound too. Nice acoustics. You can snappity snap it. It's edged on one side, not both sides. And this is, let's see, this is D2. Yeah, definitely. That's a huge D2 to let you know it's a D2. That is a neat looking like mini dagger. This would be cool for opening packages or, you know, a pickle getter or getting you an olives out of a container, but going from one end down to the other. It has a stonewash blade. It does look pretty cool. These run, I believe, in the mid to upper 40s. So you're probably paying for that titanium, and it is a cool looking knife. And lest I forget, ooh boy, I almost did. You can see it's not a large knife. There's the Penguin. Now this next one, I have a 15% off promo code. So you want to check this bad boy out. I have 2 versions of this knife. This is the Ramet Rhino. It's a little hot in this Rhino. Check it out. They have, I believe, 3 or 4 different configurations of the Rhino. This is the black micarta. It doesn't have a lot of texture, but it does feel very good. And here's an example of the green micarta. Check it out. Isn't that pretty cool? And look at this. They have a nice ornamental decorative pivot collar going on right there, anodized blue. It is a button lock. There is something particular about this button lock now and that they're changing. I'll tell you about that here in just a second. It has T8 up here and then T6 for the body screws. And then look at this. It does have a lanyard hole for all you lanyard lovers. It has a deep carry clip. The clip is relatively easy in and out of the pocket. It's kind of low profile. So if you have thicker jeans on, it might not be the easiest. You have to do that one of the things where you pull your jean pocket and then put it in, because you can see that the little lip doesn't go up too high there, but it is an attractive looking knife. And you want to see this blade? Pow! Right in the kisser. Yeah, look at that. Check it out. It has a very cool looking blade, and this fuller is very usable. And hopefully I'll quit saying very so much. Sometimes I really use the very because I'm just trying to let you know it's really cool. Nice looking black stonewash blade, and these are 14C28 in, baby. Here's a look at both versions of the blades that you can get. This is kind of that pearlescent finish, and then this is the more, I said stonewash, but that kind of looks like a black PVD coating. Now, let's get to the nitty gritty with the Rhino. One thing that some people had noticed is, well, for one, I can tell you that the action works very well. You can use the button, you can use the top flipper, you can use the thumb studs. The thumb studs work great. There's plenty of room to get your finger in here to do the reverse flick. And then also you can use that fuller if you want to, and you can do the slow roll with it. So you can open this just about any way you could imagine. The only thing it doesn't have is a back flipper. Now, the ergos are very good. You have room up here because you don't have a flipper to get up in it if you really want to do some push cuts. Now, here's the, I don't know, caveat, whatever you want to call it, is when it's closed, you can't push the button to open it. That's maybe a drawback or something that some folks wouldn't even notice. I typically, for the most part, when I have a button lock, I usually don't open them with the button. I use one of the other deployment methods, like a thumb stud or a flipper. But with this one, this particular one, maybe that's why they're 15% off, because they are upgrading them, so you will be able to open them with the button. You can see the button is flush with that nice looking micarta, but yeah, the action, the ergos, the deployment. I am trying to use the button. It won't work. The deployment it all works very well. It has relatively. Was I just thinking of melatonin? Getting some sleep. Do I ever do that? It has relatively good blade retention. It holds the blade in. When I come down, giving it a little umph, I can get the bounce out. But if I'm not overly crazy with it, it does a good job of holding the blade in. So that makes me happy. These run in the around the 40s, mid 40s, upper 40s, somewhere in the 40s range. And I know with 15% off, that's going to make this a very nice deal. So this one here is a little slicker, a little smoother feeling, maybe because this one has the coating on it, but everything else is exactly the same, except for you're getting a different color of the micarta. So that, I almost forgot. There you go. There is the QSP Penguin. This is a medium size knife. Now you want a knife that has good blade steel and costs $20. Yeah, you heard me, $20. This is the CIVIvian ST140. Would you look at it? Just look at it. Nice, slim line looking knife. As far as your thickness, here's what it looks like next to the QSP Penguin. It's just a tad thicker than the Penguin. Has very nice markings all around, or whatever you want to call this. What's the word? I don't want to call it jimping. I want to call it milling, but it is kind of jimpy. You do have a spot for a lanyard. It is not a reversible clip, but yeah, I don't have all 9 versions to show you, but the link obviously will take you to all of those versions. The pocket clip does work well. It's a little low right here, getting it in and out. So if you're trying to put it in your jeans, it might get caught because there's not a lot of lip. It's not the strongest pocket clip in the world, but you ready to see this? And by the way, look at this. You talk about a pocket pecker. That is a big, a big flipper tab. It has no jipping on this flipper tab. And can we open it by push button? Yes, we can. Check it out. Look at that. Very nice looking blade. 14C28 in blade steel. I think just for $20, getting some 14C28 in, if you don't have any, that right there is a pretty good deal. It doesn't have any room for sharpening before you get a smile. There, you see they've already got a smile from sharpening. That plunge grind just dead ends right into the heel. Not the biggest of deals when you're talking about $20. Now, you don't have a lot of pass through. You can't get your thumb in there. I find myself using this little point right here rather than digging my finger down in there. It's not the most difficult in the world, but it's not the most enjoyable. You do have to commit your thumb to disengage that liner lock, but it is not bad. The action is very good. You can see that I have to get past this point right here before it shuts. So when you shut it, you could do this number and let it fall down to your thumb and then shut it. But the ergonomics are very nice on it. I can feel the pocket clip. It's not hateful. If you're going to try to really do some heavy pushing, you're going to feel these edges. The edges aren't very chamfered. They're slightly rounded, but they could have taken maybe just a little bit more off. But all things considered, when you're talking about a knife that costs $20 and you can get it in any color you want, I think that is an excellent knife, especially for folks that are like me that love quantity just as much as they like quality, and you want to get a new knife and it's only 20 bucks. You're like, hey, what the heck? I'll get me a new knife. So that's the Saivian ST140. And here we have another Kooby. It's the Kooby Vagrant. And all you knife nuts, you've seen the Vagrant before. I can't remember if I've had one on the channel at this point or not, but here's a look at the Vagrant. Has a very nice looking blade. I like that blade. It's Austin blade steel. And look at this, the reverse flick. Oh, it is money. And it's a Kooby. We're talking about quality, right? Yeah, look at that. Comes snapping out with authority. Can I use my thumb? Yes, I can. I have to give it maybe just 2% English, just a little bit to get the edge of my thumb on the inside of that thumb hole, but it does come snapping out very nicely. And Kooby, their G10 always had such good texture. A little bit of texture vision for you. It feels very good. It's very grippy. Here's a look at the back. This one does not have a lanyard hole. However, you do have a deep carry reversible clip. The clip is easy in and out of the pocket. However, this one has a clip just like the other one I showed you. There's not a ton of room because it's not inset into the G10. So your pants can kind of get caught on there if you have thicker pants. Now the ergos on this one are comfortable. The jimping is done very well. I would actually say that this jimping is aggressive. It's it's a little aggressive, not in a bad way, but if you are really pushing hard on this jimping, your thumb is going to know it. This is going to be also one that you're going to be able to open packages and do some pull cuts and do some piercing. This is going to be a great all-around knife. And these run anywhere from like the 30s to 60, depending on the configuration that you go from. There's so many different colors and blade steel, or not blade steel, but blade type options as far as whether it's coated or not. Kooby, I mean, man, you know, if you know, you know. They're good knives. They're great right-handed, left-handed, and this one, I think I told you, is reversible clip. So let me put this next to the QSP Penguin, and I'll show you what we have coming up next. There is the QSP Penguin. It's just about the same size. Now, I've been showing you a lot of knives with 14C 28 in, baby. Well, this is no exception. This is the Saivian ST157, and man, is it different. It is very different. So your lanyard hole is just poking out right here, coming back from that micarta backspacer. And then these come in two different colors of micarta and then two variants of G10. And wait till you see this blade. You're going to be like, what? Here's a look at your flipper tab. The flipper does have some pretty nice jimping on it. I wish they had just a little bit more because they did a good job on those jimps. Just should have just wrapped them all the way around and been done with it. You ready to see this blade? Yep, there it is. Look at this. So it has a dip right here. And the only thing I can figure is because they're doing, what do you call it? The Chinese Zodiac. And that is, what is that? The dog. So I guess this is supposed to look like a dog. And I can kind of see it. Is that the snoot? And this is the top of the head of a dog. Very different looking. I can't say that it's my favorite blade shape. It's very different. Now the jimping up here, it's micro jimping. It does work. There is a giant, and I mean a ginormous. You could have the biggest sausage fingers in the world and have If you have big hands, you would enjoy this. You would probably make your hands feel small. I have large width hands, and this is giant. It is comfortable per se. The edges are kind of pronounced because I think that it is just too big for my hand. Now, when I hold it back like this, it does kind of hug my fingers and force my fingers into this area. So that's not too hateful. I could say that this is definitely not my style particular, but the blade itself, as far as using it for a blade, is nice, tall, flat grind. It is nice and sharp. It's 14C, 28 inch, so I can't complain about that. It has good action. The pass-through is adequate. It's easy to get in there and disengage that liner lock. So this could also be a flipper and a flicker, and you can get in there and do a slow roll with it. So that is the Saivian ST157, and I don't know if they're calling it the dog, but that gives you an idea. This is a big knife. Now we have one more. Last, but certainly not least, we have a fixed blade. It's another Ifengro. It's an EF knife. Yeah, it comes with a Kydex sheath going all the way down, and it does have micarta handles. It is a beast, and look at that. Look at the thickness of that blade stock. It is not messing around, and it is easy to get out of the Kydex sheath. You have a little bit of a ramp area here for your thumb to take it out, and it does have, you can turn this on or off as to whether you can, if I have it on or off, whatever, vice versa, you can open this up. It's a multi-directional clip, so you can move that to whatever direction you want and then lock it so it won't come undone. To undo it, you push down like that. Now, getting this blade out, look at this thing. I haven't wiped it off. That's okay. I don't think you'll mind. This is DC53 steel, baby. It is a chunker rooski. Look how thick. It's a thick boy. Now, it does have some jimping up here. The jimping is grippy. It's rather aggressive. This is a big knife. The handle is a little bit squared, but oh yeah, it is so comfortable. It is very, very comfortable. Now, one thing I will mention about this one is that the blade is not the sharpest. It just seems like they could have sharpened it a little bit better. Yeah, look at this. So EF, that is not normal. Usually they do a better job of sharpening their knives. This one here almost feels like the edge is rolled, but this one, you could do some chopping with it. Seriously, you could do some serious chopping. I don't know that you would necessarily bushcraft with this knife. This would just be a collector's knife, or one that, I mean, it's gotta be around the 9 or 10 ounce mark. It is a hefty boy, but it does have some decent blade steel. And if you like fixed blades and you wanna add a big fixed blade to your collection, here's what it looks like next to the QSP Penguin. It looks very small next to this one. So there are 10 knives of the week. They could be found on Amazon. I'll have links down below if you want to check any of these bad boys out. Tell me, do you have a favorite? Do you have any that you like? Is there one that you're going to get? We'll talk about these on the live stream on Friday night. You don't want to miss that. But go watch this video. You'll really enjoy that. Until I see you again in the lives or the chats, the comments of this video, or when you're leaving a thumbs up because you enjoy the content, remember, live life in the present, keep a Band-Aid handy, and don't cut yourself.